For the people that always put Andre 3000 on this high pedestal above Big Boy, Big Boy was really getting Andre on this album. What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Flowers, and today I'm going to be discussing the album that's approaching its 25th anniversary. Matter of fact, by the time this drop, it'll be its 25th anniversary. I'm talking about an album that's freaking classic all around the board. This album beat the sophomore jinx, sophomore slump. It actually elevated the artist. So today, I'm giving flowers to OutKast, ATLiens. Man, ATLiens came out in 96, 25 years. That's crazy. I was only 6 years old when this came out. First things first, I wanted to ask you guys, for those that were like obviously teenagers and adults when this album first dropped, how did it feel? How did this album feel to you coming after Southern Playalistic? Like, was it like a total shift? Was it a graduation that you expected of an artist? What I mean by that is like taking it to the next level. Like, how did it feel? In my age range, I came into OutKast. I started listening to OutKast, Aquemini, and I heard, me and you, your mom and your cousin too, and all that. But I didn't come into OutKast into Aquemini. How was this album? Because I know in the skit on Aquemini, they have like first there was some pimps, then there was some aliens, and fans was turned off. So was that a true thing? Let me know in the comments. But ATLiens, going back and listening to it, first thoughts is that this is a very dark album. It's very gloomy in a way. And I thought Aquemini was a dark album, but this one is way darker than Aquemini. But it's also an awakening album. It seems like Andre and Big Boy matured completely during this album. Big Boy having a daughter. Andre actually going back to high school and getting his high school diploma, which is dope. Andre became a vegan. He obviously this change of clothes, style of wear started to change. He had the turban on and things of that nature. So it was a different thing for OutKast. So I'm gonna go through the album, talk about what's good, what's bad, and just give my overall take on it. So let's get into it. One thing I did notice, listening back to it, Andre wasn't really on he was on the songs, but it was a verse. He wasn't on the hook. Big Boy was carrying the hooks. If it wasn't Big Boy, it was someone from the Dungeon family. But Andre really wasn't on the hooks. It's something that I didn't notice until going back and listening to it to do this review. For the people that always put Andre 3000 on this high pedestal above Big Boy was really getting Andre on this album as far as flow and just keeping my attention. I think Andre did a great job as well. You could tell his flow was maturing and his subject matter was just going to a whole new level. But as far as like the stuff that kept me in it, Big Boy was going to Two Dope Boys in the Cadillac, and that's one of the hardest beats I ever fucking heard. Two Dope Boys in the Cadillac is such a dope intro because it lets you know exactly where they're at right now. They're coming back with like full energy. It sounded like they knew that they had to break the sophomore slump and shit. The flow sound more polished than Southern Playalistic. It was just a new energy, and that hook just two dope boys in the Cadillac. That is just classic in itself. That is just classic in itself. ATLiens, and that's a track that OutKast produced themselves, and that shit is so space like. No wonder that it fits the album so perfectly, the title and just the whole scheme of it. I remember being a kid and watching this video, this one and the Elevators, and with this video I was like, this is some weird shit. Like you can imagine a 6-year-old 7-year-old looking at that video, and like this is when artists was really artistic with their videos, and just like they're finding pyramids in their video. They're fucking like, it's so dope, man. Like you could just tell it was like this eerie X-File-ish kind of shots. It was really dope, man. Like, that's one of the things I remember about ATLiens. One thing I also, going back and re-listening to it, the hook that Big Boy put on there is so money and it's so 90s. Like, it's throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Like, and if your life fix your grits and all that pimp shit, everybody let me hear you. Like, it's just so fucking dope. And like, but it's so 90s. Wheels of Steel is amazing. I guess Andre sings the hook on there. Jump on the wheels of steel. And his flow on there and that beat
that you distribute, we don't contribute to your clandestine activity.
OutKast did Wheels of Steel too. That's crazy. That beat and their flow on there, it was just like so rapid and in pocket, and because OutKast when they produce, it's fast. Think of like Will's Still, Spread, Ghetto Music, a lot of songs on Speaker Box, Rosa Parks, Skewed on the Bobby. Like it's like these fast up tempo records, but their flows be so they don't. It's weird. They rap fast, but they don't rap fast. It's just something I was thinking about. Jezebel, great record. The topics that they were touching on this album, it was just at the age that they were at and the time they were at, it's kind of like, oh shit, that's kind of, you were ahead of your time. Not ahead of your time, but just you cared. Because they didn't have to talk about this. They could have still went on the path of Southern Playalistic and just been, those kind of rappers. I won't put a word there, but those kind of rappers. But they took it a step further and just started discussing just life and as a young black male. Like Andre says on Aquemini, OutKast Aquemini, Never Black Experience. That's exactly what they were painting on each album, especially on this one. And it's just beautiful to see that growth from that first album to this album. It's really a jump to me. Elevators, come on now. That's an OutKast beat too. Jesus Christ. Those three right there, ATLiens, Wheels of Steel, and Elevators is just some classic beats. But Elevators is something I never heard. It's nothing I ever heard like that in my life. Yeah, it's something about that. Even as a kid, I remember Cedric Entertainer on Def Comedy Jam making fun of that. They were on national radio, me and you, your mama and your cousin too. What the fuck, man? The thing that's impressive about OutKast is that they stuck to their guns. They stuck to their roots. They never felt like they were selling out. It never felt like they were compromising their integrity. It just felt like them at every turn. That's why we were so accepting of them in every form that they came in, whether it was the football shoulder pads or the Kango pimp kind of style suits or the pink furry pants. Like, we accepted everything from them because you respect a person that's true to themselves. Over the Woods is so fucking dope. Babylon's dope. Okay, mainstream and Decatur songs. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for this. I know I am, but I think I'm the only one who doesn't care for Goody Mob records or OutKast like albums. Like I'm always skipping. Those records are always my least favorite records on the album. That's the cool part about OutKast though. It goes back to what I said. That Dungeon Family shit is real. Like, if I come up, I'm pulling you up. It was still like a family mob kind of thing. And I appreciate them on every effort, on every album having a Goody Mob member on it. But for me, and I know I'm probably on an island by myself, and people in the South don't dislike this because of this, but I'm cool on Goody Mob on the records, bro. Millennium, I thought was dope. And mainstream, I like that song. Andre on Millennium is nuts. Life never lived up to my expectations, so I escaped the patience, accept the worst, but now I'm pacing. You could tell that when a person, like, is just comfortable with themselves. Like, that flow, Andre and Big Boy, those flows just can't be duplicated. Like, I never heard somebody sound like those two rapping wise. I heard people try to emulate the Love Below sound in every way, but as far as just rapping, and it only could be one Andre 3000, but as far as rapping, the flow that Big Boy and Andre, and they had to be nothing but 1920 when they made this album, but the flows they had was just like, damn. And the fact they were fresh off that Source Award shit, and I'm pretty sure that put a battery in their back, but goddamn, New Yorkers, how are you so, like, if it's dope, it's dope. That's what I would think. And I can see how you have this, like, hood over your head about Southern rappers, but come on, man. They were rapping better than a lot of people, and they stood the test of time a lot better than a lot of those New York rappers who were there booing them at the Source Awards. Those last three records are so dope because, and this is like all OutKast discography for real, but the fact that they could tell two different stories but the same story, like if you look at it, Big Boy and Andre shouldn't even be together, but that's the magic, right? They seem like two different people. Big Boy can spit you that street shit on the side of this, like on 13th Floor and Growing Old, and Andre can spit you some like extraterrestrial type, look what we doing, like on some science kind of level. Like, he's talking about the food, he's talking about the shit that we watch, he's talking about all that shit. And Big Boy too, but his is more on like a street mind kind of thing, because he spits a lot of stuff that's actually game, and street code could be misunderstood a lot. So, but just the fact that they have those two different stories, that, I don't know, man, that's just beautiful. This is how eclectic black people are. Like, they're telling two different stories of the black experience from the same place, but as two different people. Like, two totally different people. and they're both OutKast. Like, crazy. Let me get into the best songs. I'm gonna go with Elevators, Two Dope Boys, and Wheels of Steel. I love Wheels of Steel. That beat is just so dope. Worst song, Decatur songs. Best line, true, I got enough fans in the average man, but not enough loot to last me. To the end of the week, I live by the beat like you live check to check. If don't move your feet, then I don't eat, so we like neck to neck. Guess we done came a long way from them slim ass cigarettes from Virginia. Like, he was just, yeah, that's the best line, period. But let's wrap this shit up though. In closing, happy 25th anniversary to OutKast, ATLiens. It's so great that these records are, it's great that these hip hop records are aging like so beautiful. We're coming up on these times where, like, you remember when Thriller hit his 25th? Like, ATLiens is hitting his 25th anniversary, and it's one of those albums in OutKast discography that it probably gets overlooked the most. Like, this album probably gets overlooked the most out of the OutKast discography. I don't count Ottawa as a CD. So out of the first 5, this album probably gets looked over the most. I can see why sometimes, because it is dark. It's no like real funness of OutKast that we grow to know and love. You know, like, they always seem like they had fun. On this record, it don't seem like they smiled one time in the studio. Like, it was just like straight serious. But it had to be, because they were maturing. This was the sophomore album. They already counted us out. You saw what they did to us at the Source Awards. We got to come with some game-changing shit, and I think they did. Listen to Elevators shit. Nothing sounds like Elevators to this day. Like, nothing sounds like Elevators. So I just had to give it its flowers on its 25th anniversary. Who would I be if I didn't? So as always, flowers for OutKast, ATLiens. I'm Tatum. Peace.